Raw, filtered, uncut. I'm like BET back in the 90s, the early 2000s. If you know, you know. All right? BET uncut. Old childhood memories, but that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about what we're talking about now. Bradley Matthias Jerome Cornelius Holmes. I have no idea what his middle names are, but I just gave him something because I just felt like it. I'm going to tell you something you ain't going to believe because you don't want to. You don't want to. See, I was the president of SOL. I had to leave that life behind because the Lions earned me to leave it. They destroyed, I had to dissolve the SOL club. I was the president and a client at the same time. The Lions, what you see behind me, studio I'm sitting in that I put in my basement that I've spent thousands of dollars for, you wouldn't have seen that 5 years ago. You wouldn't have seen it, but they earned it. And now you about to see something as well. Brad Holmes, for all the good that he's done, he has 2 years to get this thing together. He has 2 years to take us to a Super Bowl. If he does not, you or somebody you know is going to start to look at him with that Muppet face, with that side eye. That's what you're going to do. You don't have to take my word for it. I'm just telling you the facts, which is what I've always done. Brad Holmes has 2 seasons to make it to a Super Bowl. Why you say that, Derek? I'll tell you. See, what I'm saying is based off of facts. It's based off of stats. But Derek, you get so emotional. That's true. But behind that emotion are numbers. 100% stats. Brad Holmes, we didn't talk about it on this channel because I've been MIA. My apologies. We're going to, let's have some fun here. Let's take a look at, let's talk about Brad Holmes' draft picks. And let's look at the 4 draft picks or drafts that he's had. If you know this, put it in the comment section. We look at the first 2 drafts. We got to exclude that first one because he was working with what he had. He had 5 picks. He flipped it to 7. Out of those 7 picks, he got a foundational piece in Penei Sewell, a foundational piece in Amon-Ra St. Brown. He got some other players, Derek Barnes. He got some players. Not a back end, Jamar Jefferson, those type of guys. They're not on the team anymore. So he did what he could with year 1. I applaud him for that. Year 2, can't miss prospect in Aiden Hutchinson. You take him. You take Jamison Williams, which you guys might remember I had an absolute fit when we traded up to get him. Not the player, it was the pick. The fact that our D-line sucked back then, and we didn't do anything about it. We took Josh Pasco. No disrespect to Josh Pasco, but we took Josh Pasco, right? We take Aleem McNeil. Aleem McNeil was year 2, so he was the next round. So we tried. We did some things. Now we're at 2023. We take Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, in a draft that we could have taken Jalen Carter. Now, wasn't a fan of Jalen Carter off the field, had some issues, some questions about him. The Lions interviewed him like they do everybody, all other prospects. And a lot of you in the comment section, and a lot of you right now still would take Jalen Carter. We passed on him. We took Jahmyr Gibbs. I believe if Brad wanted a guy, remember that dude? I like you and I want you. If Brad wanted to draft Jalen Carter and Jahmyr Gibbs, he could have. There are some people we miss out on. Do we get Brian Branch, Sam Laporta? Do we get Jack Campbell? I know Jack is not an option. Some people was talking about we took Jack too early. The second half of the 2023 draft, all projects. Starting with Broderick Martin. The list goes on and on. 2024. How many people can you name from the draft that were impactful? Only one. His name is Terrion Arnold. And you could debate on whether or not he was impactful. He was forced to start due to the injury from Emmanuel Mosley. Everyone else in the 2024 draft was a future player. So if you follow me, 2021, we're going to give him a pass. 2022, he did his thing. 2023, half the draft was impact, half was starters. Half was for the future. And all but one pick in 2024 were for the future. But we're building through the draft. Okay, if you're drafting for the future, that's what you're doing, right? You're building through the draft. Now, what I didn't hear people say this season was we're rebuilding. Nobody said that. No, I didn't see that at all. 2023, that's all you saw. That's all you saw. 2024, I didn't see it one time. People thought because where we went in 2023, the expectations were to be there or beyond that in 2024. What happens? So after 4 drafts, 2.5 or a draft and a half are all projects. All projects. And let's not forget, in year 2, James Houston, Malcolm Rodriguez, James Mitchell in the 5th round. Nobody talks about that stuff. Now, not every general manager hits every pick, but you got to be good in free agency. You got to be good in the draft. You put the two together. As much as I despise this guy right now, C.J. Gardner-Johnson was not a good fit for our team, but he was a great fit for the Philadelphia Eagles. And now he's sitting over there with a Super Bowl. You know who else is over there? Former Detroit Lion, Darius Slay. Now, Brad Holmes had nothing to do with that. That was our old guy. But the time is going to run out for Brad Holmes. I don't know how many people outside of Spirit of Detroit podcast might say this, but I'm going to be the one to say it. Somebody else could come in and finish the job. Don't act like we haven't seen it before. Because, see, you and I, we're going to be here after he's gone. The question is he going to do enough to stay around for another 4 years? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. See, I told y'all before, the gloves is off, man. Kickboxer, final fight, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and the other guy. Honey on the hands, glass. That's where I'm at. This Brad Holmes, he got a lot of work to do. And I'm going to be here when he not. I hope he's here, but I'm going to be around long after him. It ain't my job to fix the team. It's my job to talk about it. But now it's his job to fix this D-line and his job alone. A lot of you guys have been glossing over it. What do they say? The kids say glazing. Is that what they say nowadays? But I think you're starting to see now, ain't you? You're starting to see how it's only so much glaze we can put on that donut. This falls on Brad Holmes. All the good. This doesn't undo or undervalue the good that he's done. But to win it all, you got to have the best of both worlds. You got to have a good free agency. You got to have a great draft. And they got to connect. Let me know what you think.